Bara was used to create limited filah. Then the next one is Yom.
Thank you.
What does Yom mean?
Yom.
Yo.
It's like Arabic, it's
Yo.
Semitic. So it could be day, it could be daylight, it could be age, it could be 24 hours, it could be era, it could be rain, it could be, I can say maybe 30 things. All day. So you say, I mean, listen to this, this verse is very beautiful. You say, and God said, let there be light. وَقَالَ اللَّهُ يَكُنْ
No, no.
نور. And there was light. And God called darkness night and called light day. Okay? So he called, this is important, God called darkness night and called light day. So wherever there is darkness, God calls it night. Wherever there is light, God calls it. That is a very significant piece of information. Yes, okay. How long is polar day? Huh?
6 months.
It's 6 months. If you go to, if I go to Google thing here, and maybe I can do it here, and I'll show you something that you need to look at. Okay. This is a day in the polar region. You see what the sun is doing? You see it?
Mm-hmm.
How is the sun moving? Is it moving like this?
Like this. Down. Down. Up.
Down to up.
Yeah.
It's not leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes around
That's over 6 months of work?
over 6 months. So what it does is actually when you look at when you are in the pole, it comes down to the horizon, comes up, and comes down to the horizon, comes up. This is actually that's the point. So even by our own time, by our own reckoning, by our understanding, day in certain places of the earth is not 24 hours, nor daylight 12 hours. So when God says He called darkness night and light day, that is the concept. We're used to 12 hours, and even our time, 12 hours is not really fixed. In the winter, daylight is actually shorter. In the summer, daylight is, and we have the equinox, when the day and the night actually come to be exactly the same. And we have the solar solstice or something they call that, where actually the day and the night exactly are the same. But that doesn't happen during the day. So when you say Yom, it can mean daylight, but it also can mean something else. It can mean 24 hours, a whole cycle. It can mean, you say, the days of King David. What does that mean? When Jesus said, the day of the Lord. What's the day of the Lord?
Sunday.
It's his time to reign. The day of King Saul. The day he took on the kingdom. Does that mean that is one day? No. There is even one more impressive place, which is actually, I want you to look at this. In Genesis 1, in Genesis 2, we'll just go to Genesis 2. I read this with you so you will get this idea even more. That day does not mean 24 hours at all. Genesis 2. Verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heaven. What's the day meaning?
God's day.
How many days he did, at least if we're going to take it literally, how many days he did the heaven and earth?
6.
Much more, because we said, and in the beginning God did the, let's say 6, okay? So that day doesn't mean one day, right? Because we know from Genesis 1, it took him more than one day to do heaven and earth by all definitions, right? In 6 days he finished it. So why is it saying in the day, right? So that the point I'm trying to make is, when somebody insists it is one day, it means 12 hours or 24 hours. Even the Bible itself does not say so. Got that? Is the point made? Hopefully. Okay. So this is another one. How about next? Is important piece also when we say good. Because good is being said for every day except the second day. And many count in kind of speculations why the second day was not. So we said bara, yom, and we have this one, tov. It's a familiar name. Or tov means good. It can mean many things also. Tov, we got Tobit, the little good man. Tobit. And the opposite of it is Ra, evil. What does that Tov mean? If you look it up, actually, in the Bible, Tov means good, useful, beautiful, agreeable, beneficent, likable, suitable. So good here does not mean, good and evil here does not mean sin and righteous. It does not mean something godly and something evil. Not at all. So, for example, I take this example. I always didn't like black. Maybe because my father died early and every woman in my family had to put on black since then. My grandmother, my mother, everybody. My aunts and my... So I hated it. On the day I was ordained, I remember sitting in the Karma for Boston in a corner, I'm crying. I had to mourn the nice shirts and the ties and the colorful stuff that I used to wear and and everything. So, to me, black is raw. Green and blue and red and gray is tov. Does that this is green and red is righteous and black is evil? Not really, but to me I don't like it. I hate it. It represents something else. So when God says something is good, when God looked at the light and said it was tov, what does God say? Usually two things. What does God say about something as tov? It means too good. Two things. Which he described in the paradise. Beautiful to look at, and at the same time, useful, practical. You have to have those two characters for God to say it or anything is good. They look good, but at the same time they
Act good.
act good. Right? So some things God said that is not good. What did God say that's not good? He said to be alone. That's why he needed humans to be in a society. And to eat from the tree. He implied that. There's two things that he said not good. But everything else God made, he said it's tov, 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 tov. Tov of everything he made, except those 2 points in chapter 2, he said it's not good for man to be alone. And don't eat of the tree, the day you eat of it, you will die. So, what did humans see? Look at this. When the woman looked at the tree after the temptation, what did she say?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful to look at and it is good to eat. So here you have a problem. You have the God set, godly, or the divine set of Tov and Ra, and the human set of Tov and Ra, and the two doesn't go together. Well, this is very common. Like you say, let's say, you say to your child at home, حبيبي روح ذاكر عند الأسبوع الجاي عندك امتحان. Mama, this TV show is so good. To Mama, this TV show is Ra, because the timing of it is wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
So you have a problem from the beginning that God is the one who knows what is good, what's good and what's evil. But humans at the same time have, through the devil, took our allegiance with God and they want to see things new from their own perspective. Basically, the temptation would be in this life is to take away our judgment and not to rely on God's judgment of hidden. So I want to be the judge of what's good and what is not good. I'll take it into my hands. I'm risking everything and I'm willing to be my own God. I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not going to listen to you. Basically, that's what Adam and Eve had done. But he said, God said, I know, he's saying to them, the day you take that judgment into your hands, what will happen? You will die. You will die. Morally, physically, you know. So this was the biggest temptation. The temptation was, let me just add something else to this, is the word, this is important too. The word is our womb. And our I think that's the spelling. This one is naked, and this one is cunning, slippery. They're very close. This was said about the snake, the serpent. And this one is said about the humans. Okay? There's something implied here that, and the rabbinic teaching said that the words used for the cunning is slippery, smooth. The word used for humans is nakedness, bare, exposed. And the two words are actually very close when you say them. And they said most probably the divine inspiration wanted to say that the cunning of the serpent was directed at the nakedness of the human. Why? This is sneaky, and really, really sneaky. Because the serpent had been looking at Adam and Eve, and he found something in them. What is different about humans? They're not covered. We are not covered. Look at every other creature that God has made. They're all cats, dogs, fish, crocodiles, lions, birds. They have feathers, hair, fur, scales, you name it. The only thing that is not covered is why? Why? So let's keep that white a little bit farther away. But then they don't know. Humans don't know because they have not judged it yet. What is soul and what is Ra? If they open their eyes and start looking at human and the other animals and creatures, they say they're actually very vulnerable. They're open, they're bare, naked. So he, the serpent, wanted them to take that judgment into their hands, so they start doubting God's care. So that separate them from God. So when they ate from the tree, what's the first thing they discovered? They are naked. They looked at themselves and said, whoa, wait a second. We've been with the animals all this time. None of the animals are like us. We are now able to see that. So they started to actually doubt God's care for them. Why would God make them naked? That's very interesting. You only can learn this from sociology. What's nakedness? And psychology. What's nakedness? Yes, David, you want to say something?
There was like a meditation on it by one of the saints. I think it's the idea of like humans are the only creature born without anything. Other animals have like claws and stuff, and humans and fur, but humans are born naked because it's like the one thing we have is that we can create like the way like for like in the image of God.
You can look at it from this way, but there's actually a more deeper way or fundamental way. What is nakedness? Nakedness is
Not hiding.
not hiding anything. For us to develop, because you know animals, birds, whatever, they don't live with their parents forever. A bird, after they reach a little bit of maturity, the mother actually pushes the child, the little chick, out of the nest, and then let it drop and catches it and put it back in the nest and push it up. What about cats? They leave the kittens. No one stuck as much time with their parents like humans. Take many years for a human person to develop and be, and what is needed then? It needs intimacy. Human development needs intimacy. They've done many studies in sociology. One of them is in Germany after World War II. They actually, when they bombarded the cities of Berlin, and they collected kids, little babies, out of the wreckage, and they put them in big holes where only 2 nuns takes care of 1,000 child. They cannot change their diapers. So they invented automated bottle. They have a bottle line, and every 2 minutes they let the bottle dangle, and then the baby will take the bottle, and then it goes to the next one, and it goes, and when they reach the end of they take the empty bottle, they fill it again, and have to say, these babies were not touched by humans. So they followed them and did a study. They found them all in big trouble. All of them were in jail, having criminal records, a lot, because they lost their intimacy. As humans, we need that. So how can you develop intimacy without nakedness? Think about it. It's impossible. Animals don't need that. They have instincts. But us humans, we need nakedness to develop attachments and bonding. How do you develop bonding and attachment from a medical point of view? Whether between the baby and the mother. Well, how do you do it? One is you take a baby out of the mother. What do? You put the baby immediately on the mother.
Right, skin to skin.
Breast, skin to skin. If you don't have that, that bonding and attachment cannot develop. So what is God doing here? He is going to have to develop human beings in the image of the Trinity, where there's complete non-separation. Have to be that attachment. Husband and wife, children and mother, they have to have nakedness to have intimacy. In psychology, to develop intimacy, you have to start exposing yourself. I'm going to be all what I'm saying to my beloved one is cliches. Does that develop intimacy?
No.
No. And I'm talking about the weather and the politics. Does that develop intimacy?
No.
What do I need really to develop intimacy?
Vulnerability.
To expose and be vulnerable, right? And there's no intimacy without that. So on all levels, humans have to be naked. But when you look at it from the devil point of view, it is weakness. You look at it, it's a disadvantage. Why would God do this to you? And immediately the couple would say, why would God do this to us? Why do we need to be exposed like this? I'm very ashamed. So whatever relationship was meant to be, now it is actually the opposite. We're actually separated, right? I'm ashamed and I don't want to be in this relationship. This is like too much for me, I cannot handle it. But how? Because of the judgment. They judged this status as wrong. Get it? For God, it is actually told because there is innocence, there is intimacy. This is the Trinity. This is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Everything I have is for my Son and my Spirit. That's what the Father say. Everything I have, Jesus said, goes back to my Father and to the Spirit. I'm not holding anything back. If He wants to have me, He can have me, all of me. And that's what the Trinity is doing with each other. But for us humans to be in the image of God and to be in the likeness of God, we have to go through that vulnerability. And Jesus showed that vulnerability on that cross. He showed it. Like, there is nothing I'm going to hold back from my Father. Sometimes I teach people, I say, okay, think Jesus went to the cross because He loves us? Yeah, sure. But he did that mainly because he loved his father. It's the father's will. Okay, I'm just going to say this other verse in Genesis, and it says a lot about what is going. This is setting up the stage for the whole salvation history, especially this Tov and Ra. Be careful of that because that's where the tree is coming. Said the tree of knowledge of Tov and Ra, meaning you're gonna take that judgment to yourself. You're not gonna depend on God because God is the one who says good. And there's another one, and I want to just maybe do it more in the next time. Why would God have to ask? So in the story of the creation of Adam and Eve, when the time came and God said, it's not good for Adam, for man to be alone. Not good for man to be alone. Period. What's the next verse? Let's make him a helper comparable to him. Period. Guess what? And God said to Adam, asked Adam to name all the animals. So I always joke and say, if a father says, my son is so lonely, I need to get him a wife. Son, come here, let's go to a pet store. Buy him 12 chickens, 5 cats, 2 dozens of dogs, and have a farm. Does that make sense? Have you ever thought about this? He's saying to him, God is saying to himself, I need to have somebody for my son, but at the same time, he's asking to name the animals. What is the point? I guess after Adam gave the names to all the animals, there's a lot there, actually, more than this. But after he gave the animals, what is the conclusion? But for Adam, was not found a help comparable to him. What happened is Adam actually discovered that it's actually good to be a family. He never thought about it. But when he started naming the animals, he started to notice that they are actually
families, yeah.
Males, females, and little ones. Males and females. And all of a sudden, Adam make a realization, oh, I am actually alone. It highlighted, it pushed his sense of aloneness. Then what is God doing actually? Think about it. He is the one he said that from the beginning. It is Ra for Adam to be alone. But he's not imposing it. He's imposing it on the animals. They're going to go by instincts. What does he want Adam to see? And it's actually not good. That Adam is not going to be taught this by a direct command from God. It's not good for you to be alone. Find yourself a wife. Let me make you a wife. No, God didn't do that. He said, okay, here's the animals that I made. They have no choice. You have a choice. What do you think? And Adam says, oh, it's not good. So, whatever judgment God has, now it is actually with the same judgment is made by Adam. What do you call that? Beautiful coaching. True fatherhood. He's not forcing anything. He just say, look, my son, I've done this. What do you think? Yeah, I want to have that. So he from his heart wanting to have the same kind of thing that God actually decided from the beginning it is good. And this is what Jesus was saying. He says, I don't do anything of my own. Whatever I see my Father doing, I do likewise. This is a new Adam. He's talking in this way. So this is the way God deals with it. But we humans decided to distrust God, and make a new judgment. And guess who's going to teach us and coach us in the new judgments? Who is our coach? Of course. He is the coach now. Whatever we think good might not be appealing to God, might be actually told. That's Ra. Let's go and pray our Father so we can finish this. Make us with the Lord to say thank you, our Father.
Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one.
May the love of the Father and